we're back once again with an episode of The Tea Drinker, and today we're going to be looking at Northern tea merchants. Now, as some of you might know, I did a film last year in Sheffield and Chesterfield called Everybody Hates a Tourist. If you haven't seen it, I'll put a link down below so you can check that out. But while I was in Chesterfield walking along the Chatsworth Road, I came across this place called Northern Tea Merchants. Now, they are an amalgam with the Spire Tea Company, which started in 1936, and the Northern Tea Merchants in 1971. But as you can see, they kept the logo, which is a representation of the famous spire of Chesterfield Parish Church, or St Mary's and All Saints. Now, we're going to have a little bit of a closer look as to what we're going to be drinking today. This one in particular, this is Earl Grey with cornflowers. We have apple, which is a black tea base with apple pieces. We have Gourmet Classic, which sounds like it's a very premium tea, so I'm looking forward to drinking that. So we've got Moroccan mint. I always like to include a mint variety in the teas that I'm drinking. We have got wild cherry, which is also a black tea base with sort of fruit flavourings in that. We have got Russian Caravan. I am very fond of Russian Caravan. I love its smoky flavour. We have got Rwanda tea. Now, I've had African teas before. They're mainly from Kenya, though. I've never had anything from Rwanda before, so interested in trying that out. In my experience, a lot of African teas, they have a very earthy taste. So yeah, I'm very curious about this one. We have Japanese Sencha and Cherry Blossom, which is a green tea that has like flavorings in it. We have China Qingwu tea. And last of all, we have Ceylon Candy, which is of course a Sri Lankan blend. So that's the 10 varieties of tea I'm going to be tasting from Northern Tea Merchants. So let's get brewing. Okay, so we've been brewing our teas for about 4 minutes. So we're going to kick things off with the Ceylon Candy. Sort of very sort of delicate scent, slightly fruity. That's quite a delicate taste to it. Very nice. Very has a sweetness to it, not a bitterness. Sometimes you have teas that have a very sort of bitter flavour in the mouth. That has a very delicate taste. It's got sort of fruity, not very floral. I'd say more sort of fruity taste to it. It's not a sort of morning tea. It doesn't have that sort of kick you out of bed first thing in the morning sort of strongness to it. So, like I said, very delicate flavour. Sort of, I'd say this was sort of an afternoon tea, maybe, or an evening tea, but very, very lovely taste to it. Next, we have our wild cherry. Can't really smell anything. Oh, yes. Definitely, as you taste it, you do get the cherry flavours coming through. Of course, the taste is actually dominated by the black tea, but nevertheless, you do have that cherry flavour coming through. The black tea isn't strong or bitter, and you get that nice cherry fruitiness. It's not too strong, I'd say. It's the cherry taste could be a little bit stronger. But it's there. It's definitely there. You can definitely taste the cherry, the wild cherry in the flavor. Next, of course, we have Gourmet Classic. This is one I have looked forward to. It sort of has a very... There's a lovely tea aroma to it. It's quite dark in colour. Very, very dark in colour. Almost coffee-like in colour. It's quite... I really can't think what the aroma reminds me of. I don't want to say it's generic, but it does have quite sort of a woody sort of aroma to it. Oh, that's strong. Whoa. That is a strong cup of tea. Mm. Wow, that's strong. A little bitter on the aftertaste. But yes, that is something you'd want to drink first thing in the morning, sort of to get you out of bed. Wow, that is surprisingly strong. That is, wow. Wow, that is one strong cup of tea. I think that's sort of a tea that would benefit from a drop of milk, but I don't drink milk in my tea. But yes, I think it does need that little bit of milk to temper it a little bit. So yes, but wow, that is a strong cup of tea. Okay, so next we have the apple tea. Yeah, there isn't a sort of fruity scent coming off it. It is appley, and yes, it does have a very fruity taste to it. Mm. It's not as strong as I'd hoped it would be. I was looking forward to a very sort of appley taste. I mean, it is there, but it's not as strong and punching through the black tea flavors as I hoped it would. But that kind of depends on the scoop that I got. You know, one day I might get a scoop that doesn't have that many apple pieces in it, and the next day I'll get a scoop that has loads of apple pieces on it. But nonetheless, lovely fruity flavor. Lovely fruity flavor, could be a bit stronger. And the next one we have is our Earl Grey with cornflowers. Wow, of course. The unforgettable aroma of Earl Grey. As the lovely, you can smell the sort of bergamot aromas. And it's slightly floral from the cornflower as well. That is gorgeous. Oh, oh, that is lovely. Mm. Earl Grey is always going to be my favourite variety of tea. Mm. That is absolutely delicious. Absolutely wonderful. That is a lovely cup of Earl Grey. Okay, so next up we have the Chinese Qing Wu tea. Quite meadowy, very floral, sort of grassy aroma. Mm. It has a slight bitterness, but is quite smooth actually. It's not as bitter as other Chinese teas that I've had. It does have that sort of grassy taste to it, very meadowy, but quite mellow, with a slight bitterness on the aftertaste. Next, we have one of my favourites, Russian Caravan. Very odd. Doesn't have the very strong aromas that I associate with Russian Caravan. Let's give it a taste. That's odd. Usually a Russian caravan is quite overwhelmingly smoky. But this one, the smokiness is very subtle. I mean, there is a smokiness there, but it's not like overwhelming like a lot of like Russian caravans that I've had in the past has had, where you can literally taste the sort of charcoal taste. It's not bad, but it's not as strong as I'd hoped it would be. Now, this is another one I've been looking forward to. This is the Rwandan tea. It's got a lovely aroma to it. Not as earthy as I imagined. It's actually quite sort of citrusy, quite floral. Mmm. Mmm. It's quite strong, quite a bit bitter. Again, it's like the gourmet tea. It would probably taste better if it was tempered with milk. It's not bad actually. It's not bad. Quite bitter, but astringently so. Sort of, yeah, like the gourmet tea. Um, it's sort of something you would drink to get you out of bed in the morning. Mm, that is not bad. That is quite good. But like I said, would probably taste better if tempered with milk. This is another one I'm looking forward to. The Japanese Sencha and Cherry Blossom. Ooh, lovely cherry aroma. Absolutely beautiful. Very fruity. And it's quite a light coloured tea as well. Mm. Mm. Strangely, the cherry flavour in this coming through is actually a bit stronger than the wild cherry that I had earlier in this tasting session. But it has that nice, strong sencha taste as well. Mm. So yes, the tea and the cherry flavors and the fruit flavors and the it's very balanced. Oh, there's a nice balanced flavor between the tea base and the cherry blossom flavors. That's very nice. Now, last of all, we have the Moroccan mint. Absolutely beautiful aroma there. Um, this is actually a green tea Moroccan base. Yeah, this is actually a green tea Moroccan mint. A lot of Moroccan mints that I've had in the past are actually black tea base. So, yeah, so that's quite a lovely, beautiful, strong, minty aroma. Mm. Lovely minty taste. Mm. Very balanced between the green tea and the mint flavor as well. Usually with mint varieties, the mint has a tendency to dominate the flavor, but in this case, it's very balanced. There's some astringency there from the green tea. Oh, this is a lovely after dinner brew. Oh, yes, that is very nice. That is a very nice balanced Moroccan mint. Right, so that's all the varieties I'm tasting from Northern Tea Merchants. Now, as to picking a favourite, there was some that I was quite disappointed in, like the wild cherry. I didn't feel it was like fruity enough. If it's going to advertise its wild cherry, it should have more of a cherry flavour. And that sort of came through when I tasted the Japanese sencha with the cherry blossom. It actually, the cherry flavour from that was actually a lot stronger. And the apple tea as well. I wasn't really getting the sort of fruit flavours from that. I was very pleased with the Rwanda tea. That was quite surprising. It had a lovely taste to it. Maybe something I'd seek out and sort of look for in the future. But I think, and I hate to be biased, but I think if I'm going to pick one tea out of this sort of variety that I bought from Northern Tea Merchants, it would have to be the Earl Grey, because that was just absolutely um, top of its class. I love Earl Grey. It is my favourite flavour of tea. So yes, that was a beautiful example of Earl Grey tea. So yeah. Um so yes, that was Northern Tea Merchants. You'll find them on in Chatsworth Road in Chesterfield. I love talking to the lady Pat there. She helped me out. And so yeah, if you're ever in Chesterfield, check out Northern Tea Merchants. They do very, very good blends, especially the Earl Grey. So thank you once again for watching. I've been Cinnamonic. Thank you for watching The Tea Drinker, and I will see you again in the next video.